Hi, it's Hazel, and welcome to my channel, Hazel and Aka Design. I have been busy with other things. Had some medical appointments, had a visit from a couple members of my husband's family from across the country, and of course, also suffered whiplash from the changing daily news. So it is a pleasure to be here, to be with you, and to do something creative and positive and have at least a momentary distraction from the chaos around us. Okay, you know that I was well, maybe I should just pull those out for those of you who might have missed those videos. I have done a couple of grungy journals. Well, I guess 4. And so these are those. And there are videos that have covered them. I'm going to use this old faded, I don't know, this is probably a hockey skate from who knows when, because it's so thick and whatever. These will be closures. So we know that Dana K. White says that one way of decluttering is to finish started projects. So off to my left here, of course, I have a basket with still a lot of grungy stuff. And I thought, well, I can either make something more with it, or I need to find a place to put it, to store it for the next grungy time. So what I did was I made, and I don't think I did, well, who knows? Who knows? I might have done a video on this particular poster that I cut into thirds to make some covers. So I'll show you a little bit more of what I have done without you. Maybe I'll just briefly, because the contents are very similar in all of them. And I thought I'm going to use some of these materials to decorate the cover. So there's really nothing to see in those with the decorated covers because I haven't done any decorating. So it's just stamping off paper. This was a how-to pattern of some kind. This is lovely vintage iron-on transfer paper, stamping off paper. This is old minute book. That's from an old book. That's a mileage chart from an atlas. You know, this is coming back to me, so I'm thinking maybe I've already shown you all this. Paper towel. This is tea bag staining, because when I make a cup of tea, I put the bag on a folded up paper towel to absorb the liquid. This is from a magazine called Girls Own Paper. This is 1/2 or one side of a divider, something that I bought at auction. Paper towel, and then more of the same. So this is the other side of that divider, and you can see it's got almost like a fabric tab here. Not a very good design thing. It's a denizen, because of course that is the point of weakness, but it's there. So that's basically what we have. Now, typically, like in a one signature book, typically I would never put this many pages in because it tends to gape open. However, this is grungy, so I broke my own rule. And to be honest, I forgot how many pages are in there. But you could, well, maybe we should just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, I went too far. Where's the middle here? Oh, no, here's the middle. Okay. And today's counting lesson: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, or maybe 21. That's a lot for a single signature. Okay, so I have assembled a number of things. Here's a piece of fabric that I don't like, so that's a good way to get rid of it. Put it down at the bottom of the page. What I have done with some of the other covers is some stamping. But again, I don't want everyone to be the same because that's boring to me. And I'm here to please myself. I have some other, stamping off paper. This is parchment paper that obviously was used in that way. I fussy tore, these guys were together. I tore them apart so I'd have more ability to put them where I wanted to. I did do some inking. The page was totally white. Here's the front part of a key card or a key folder for a hotel, and other bits and pieces, including a couple of bits of negatives. This is some interesting paper. This is from an old department store paper bag. Looks like I was planning to sew it at some point. And I have these grungy dyed fabrics that could be ties and book page and so on. So let us begin. I don't know, and maybe it's unfair to say so, I don't think that in my mind so far I have been considering that a cover like this, I guess I consider a cover like this a smaller journal. I don't want to say that it's not a real journal because obviously everything is real, but it just feels to me like maybe a more sophisticated cover is more authentically a journal. So I need to get over that way of thinking. And the reason I brought that up is because with the journals, the two that I've decorated this morning, I am keeping them kind of low profile. In other words, I didn't build up a lot of layers or a lot of height. Haven't added anything too out of this world. So it just seems like this may be a very simple bit of decorating that we're about to do here. But again, that's of course totally personal taste, and a person could make it as plain or as extravagant as you choose to. I don't want straight edges, so I'm just tearing around this. These were out of a paint, probably one of those Walter Foster books, sort of landscape paintings, and I might have made envelopes or something, or book boards with the other with bigger pieces, and then I've had this left. So it's all a process of trying to use up what I already have, and if it is within my reach, so much the better. Now, again, at this point, there's a very white edge there. At this point, I'm just throwing down things, seeing where this is probably, we don't really have any blue. Let's leave that. We'll stick with these three. And this is a very worn dust jacket. It was a Daphne du Maurier book of some sort. And I used the cover image of a woman. I made a pocket out of that. Okay, so this seems a trifle long. So I think all I'm going to do is start gluing stuff down. Now on the others, on both of the others, I did some stamping prior to gluing anything down. But again, I don't have to do everything the same way every time. So let's not do the same thing the same way every time. So I'm just going to use glue stick because of course that's quick and fairly easy. And it works on almost, whoopsie, that's a big glob. Works in practically every application you can think of. So again, don't really know, don't have a plan just yet other than I think those birds will be the focal point. So it's just a case of laying down something that will, excuse me, introduce, you know, a variety of colors so that I can build on that, or, well, just add interest even if I don't build on it. And again, because it's pretty difficult to really say what this was, it doesn't matter if I were to put it upside down. You do what you need to do, and as one of my art teachers used to say, only an artist can move mountains. So remember that. Just because a mountain or a tree or anything else is that way in nature doesn't mean that's how we need to use it or maintain it. We can do whatever we want. Okay, at this point, I'm probably going to start getting a bit more, I don't want to say cautious, but maybe slowing things down a bit as I consider some options. So we are in the midst of a really beautiful, warm, sunny weather pattern. It's been that way for quite a while. A lot of the snow has disappeared, which, you know, like most things in life, that's a good thing. But it's also a bad thing in that when you're farmers or when you have trees and perennials and so on, you want there to be some soil moisture levels too when the time comes. And honestly, March 1st or 2nd, it's the 2nd today as I'm doing this, is way too early for anyone to believe that winter is over. Now off to the side here, I also have some of these stamped pieces. Oh, and here's some instructions about that iron-on transfer kit. Here's some more bits of that. So I can introduce those colors. There's that. These birds have, you know, there's a bit of a rusty red there. So let's just, again, start gluing some stuff down. Now, because this is so mauve, I will probably put it down next because I'm hoping that some of the other elements will cover it up. And if you thought you'd never live long enough to hear me say that, well, surprise. It's also a good thing to remember, like I put a lady's face on one of the covers, and I will show you that at the end of the video. It's kind of a good idea to think about possible placement when you are, or the possible position of a tie, a journal tie, when you are gluing stuff down. Because of course, you know, you'd hate to have a tie right across somebody's eyes or something. That would be a blindfold. and that would not be good. I also have this, which I really love, and this is probably closer. It's getting, you know, see how that works together? So I'll probably have to work that scrapbook paper into it as well. I wish you could feel this. Oh my God, that glue is so gooey. I don't know if it's because the temperature is warm or what, but if I wish you could feel this. It's been so, and at this point I'm going to maybe try to build in a bit of interest, a bit of texture, a bit of height by crinkling and pushing and so on. I better not forget that I wanted to use this as well. Let's see how some of this might. Okay, not quite there yet. Maybe we'll put this guy there. Now, of course, I could be, and I know definitely some of you would be, inking as you go. I don't know. Sometimes I ink, most of the time, 9/10 of the time I do not ink. So, I don't know. Go figure. Go figure. So, I'm not oh, I was going to tell you about an upcoming video that I'm going to do, but there isn't much point because it would appear before you see this one. So, let's not. That could be an interesting piece. The heck, let's just throw it down. This could be one of those kitchen sink type videos where, you know, gluing everything down but the kitchen sink. I hope, it's only, like I said, March 2nd as I'm doing this, but I certainly hope you are, let's do the more colorful, or, whoa, that landed face down. I hope you are tuning into Masterboard Madness, which is an invitational collaboration that's running all of March on my channel. And I did on the 28th, I did kind of an announcement video. On March 1st, I did, you know, the launch video. And Brenda Clark did hers today. And of course, there will be 28 more creators to see. Now, I guess the thing I like about this Daphne here is that it's dark. You know, it's the darkest element on the page, and it helps repeat what we're seeing in the log, and it also helps ground some of this. Now, I said what I said about, oh, and I also have this Chateau Lacombe thing. That could also be a nice little bit of grounding. It's like a kind of a dark olive green. Don't cover that little guy's beak. Now that's almost covered up. Maybe I should bring it down a bit. Mind you, maybe it needs to go up, but I could put the name upside down. So I get the benefit of the design. Cover up more of that plaid fabric. Shove this down. But I still like this. I don't have enough hands, unfortunately. So maybe what I need to do, let me attach these birds to each other because I'm not going to want that little tiny opening there. So clearly I have to make these guys a unit. So I will do that. These guys are practically kissing. They're so close. And okay, let's do a little bit here. Okay, so that's one less thing I have to juggle. Now, if I knew for sure about that placement, I could glue that as well. But I may want, okay, first of all, let me cover this up and ink that edge because we can't very well allow that edge to, maybe I'll just use this purpley brush here. You know there is a fine line between some shades of purple and brown. So I could have picked brown, I could have picked black, I could have picked one of my wood tone, or like browns. Just the whole idea here is to get rid of the high contrast. And of course, if you tear away from you, the white tear line would be underneath as opposed to on top. So that's a good thing to remember to, you know, you save a step if you're not planning to ink every single thing. Okay. So I should probably do a wee bit, or I could with this one. Whoops. It is very fragile. So what I could do just to add a bit of interest here is fold it back on itself. And this little guy here. Oopsie. Now, again, you in a situation like this, you really wouldn't want, like it's just, you know, you look at it and it breaks. But if I glue it, at least it'll stick to itself. Okay. Let us take a look at positioning. I don't want this video to go on forever. Now this is beginning to, this parchment is beginning to look a bit light, especially if I cover up all the other darker areas. So we'll see how that unfolds. Well, that might be all right. Again, I might have to, that was probably a mistake using that plaid there. Okay, I think that what I'm going to do is run a bead of this along the edge here just to capture that Daphne bit. And then I will use them, I'll consider that one piece. Makes it easier for positioning again. If I tuck that under there, that looks even better. Better, yes, better. Okay. So, maybe what I should do, but then that is glued to that. So, yeah, this is where you have to be kind of strategic in your gluing. And I've said that before. Oh, let's, you know, the way I glued these together, it doesn't really make much sense physics, from a physics perspective. This guy, I think we're going to ignore that. We don't care. Maybe this is the side of a hill, and maybe that's why he's standing the way he is. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, I am going to glue this down. I'm roughly 1.25 inches from there. I'm going to tuck it under there. Yeah, that's the plan. Oh, let's just use this for a little speed. So I hope that you are well wherever you are. I hope that you are finding some way to cope mentally, physically, emotionally with the insanity that is going on around us. Of course, at this point, this is Sunday, March 2nd, as I've said repeatedly already. We don't know, we, Canada, we, well, you, some of you, the U.S., do not know is what is happening with Trump's illegal tariffs. If, as promised, as threatened, those 25% tariffs are imposed on Tuesday, March 4th, then Canada is prepared with reciprocal retaliatory tariffs as a way to say, this is wrong, it's undeserved. You too will feel the pain of this illegal action, which makes for the whole situation to be lose, 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 and totally unnecessary. So at this point, I don't know what that is going to mean for me as somebody who, sells through Etsy and the Maker's Market occasionally, to Americans, as well as, see what I have to do here, as well as the, through live sales and that sort of thing. Maybe I should give this guy down here a little dab too. Just to sort of grunge that up a bit more. So, yeah, it is, I don't know, just when you think you've seen it all and, the bar for how low can anyone go, when you think, well, that clearly was the last, the worst. Well, no, apparently not. And to have someone playing, I don't know, this thing is getting away from me. Maybe a smaller piece would make it more palatable. Where are my scissors? To have someone playing fast and loose with world security is inconceivable. Maybe that's not so bad. It sort of blends in with that gray there. What happens without this? Does that help or does it hurt? Maybe it's too big a chunk of dark green. This ends up being quite a small piece here. Whoops, let's tear it, sorry. Yeah, I had to be reminded by Carol the other day, one of my videos, that I was way out of bounds. I was probably out of bounds too, but I was out of screen, which is not good. Oh, see, that might be a good way. Do it horizontally. I have everything going vertically, so horizontally is not bad. Except now I have this white thing here. Let's hide that behind the birds. Let's just do a little bit of grunging that up. Yeah, so, you know, if ever I go out of screen, it's certainly not deliberate. I thought I had that down pat after 700 and some videos, but apparently not. And this guy needs to be darkened also. Although I suppose, what else do I have here? Well, we'll see. We cannot use everything that I have here, that's for darn sure. Yeah, I always thought that I had kind of been born at the right time, hadn't, had the horror of living through the Great Depression or, any war that Canada was involved in. Any conflict has always been, far away, which kept us all pretty smug, pretty isolated, pretty, oblivious. Those birds are kind of starting to... Okay, it has to be like this to make it make any kind of sense. Or tear it. How many times oh dear, I could tear that guy's head right off. That's not good. I think it has to be. Let it be, let it be, let it be. The other day, my daughter and I saw the stage production of Frozen. Were there a few giggly, squealy little girls in the audience? Yeah. This is too... What happens if I tuck this in over here someplace? Okay, I'm just going to glue that onto the bird. And wherever the bird ends up, that's where that little bit will poke out. And again, because of what I'm doing and because of me voicing my thought process, I am making, I'm putting kind of unreal emphasis on something that otherwise would just be, an additional element. So if a stranger came along, they would be noticing the overall impact. They wouldn't be looking at a particular thing that I'm making you look at because I'm talking about it incessantly. Okay, so let's... Oh, that is long. But that's okay. And all it does is sort of, serve to strengthen and reinforce the cover. So I think I'm going to add this glue right here. Whoa. Of course it moved. Right here. So we know where the green is going to be. Oops, come down. Come down off your little perch. So, yes, and again, at this point, we're still twisting in the wind here. wondering, you know, does this threat materialize? Or so if that in fact is what happens on Tuesday, then that means I need to go to my sales platforms and change settings and or every listing to say ship Canada only. Yeah, maybe having this at an angle is a little more interesting. So again, we'll just gingerly, hope nothing moves, glue, put a bit of glue on the ends just to tack it. And I've talked about it in the past that by, gluing a few elements together, I think, at least I feel, that I have more control over positioning than if I were to try to do these things one at a time and hope I can remember what I thought was the ideal position. It almost feels like I need a bit more of this stuff to repeat at the bottom, and this is my only piece here, so I have to make this work. Maybe if I scrunch it a bit. Doesn't have to be much, it just has to be. So now it looks like that piece is that long. Yeah, so it's been busy lately with other kinds of things. I ended up having, oh joy. I discovered that I have a cracked filling in a bottom tooth, a 5-4, whichever tooth that is, that needs a filling. But of course, he would have been willing to do it that day, but I couldn't wait. He says something about, you have something more important than fixing this tooth, just giving me the gears a bit. And also, I hope I haven't talked about this in the video already because it's going to be boring. This is such a high-tech office that they had some kind of a tool that they put in my mouth that was actually a camera. And before you know it, the TV screen, which is, dangling above every exam chair. Why does this look... I have to change this. Is all of a sudden a gigantic tooth thing showing on the screen instead of the, home decor show I was just enjoying. So there was that. Oh, and then another thing they did was use the same, not the same thing obviously, but some other kind of a tool to maybe that helps get rid of that. Oh my goodness. I did not do all this kinds of second guessing and dithering with the other two covers I did. Maybe I'm got myself into a state here. And not the 51st state. Anyway, so I had that. I had a board meeting with our former Ukrainian festival group event that I coordinated for 10 years. So we had that. Then I had, what the heck else? Nails one day, and how is it that I can't remember all my activities? Oh, and then we went to an open house at the charter school that is being opened to replace the school that closed, and oh my goodness, it's been just a whirlwind. Okay, I need to hold this up so I can see what's what. Well, kids, I think I can salvage this, but honestly, this is not going to go down in the books. Maybe I should use Fabri-Tac. Will not go down in the books as a favorite journal cover. That's for darn sure. So yes, it's been interesting. Interesting. Oh, and then the Frozen thing, that was an evening. Typically our shows are theater tickets are for Sunday matinee, which is great for me because of the extra driving I have to do. But that night, because the show was longer and had an intermission, I didn't get home till about 11. Thank goodness the weather and the roads were good. Yeah, so it's been crazy. So if I haven't watched your video or commented on it, it's because there's been some turmoil here and some extracurricular stuff. Okay. Let us use Fabri-Tac to get a wee bit better grab on this mishmash here. Let's pull that thread out of there if possible. Come on. Otherwise, you know, it's surprising. A thin little thread is going to make a visible lump. Speed bump in the parking lot of life. So yes, I have a number of videos that need doing. I did, that was another thing I did. I got a couple of gift certificates for Christmas, as Christmas gifts. Let me stand up and see what's what. Although with Fabri-Tac, you do have a moment for repositioning. See, I just kept picking at that till I tore it. Isn't it great? And even though these birds are they are the focal point. If I have to add something, you know what? I'm saying that's a hill. That's a hill, people. That's why the ground is not horizontal. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But if there was an issue, I still could keep adding things. Now, I've been tearing at this, so now I have to somehow, maybe I could fold it back on itself so that we still end up with the raggedy look of it, but it won't, tear off, presumably. A little more glue here. And you're probably not going to... Did I not touch that with Fabri-Tac, or did I not press down on it hard enough? And you won't be at all surprised if this changes by the time if this changes somewhat by the time you see it again. But I think, after today, I will be packing up the grunge stuff, reducing it to a smaller container, packing it up, and, oh, I was going to try to use these also. Too late now. Okay. Let me show you the other covers. Oh, and I also, you saw me, I'd covered a piece of corrugated cardboard with this, whatever it was. This was one of those art pieces with the very colorful folk art type thing. Anyway, 3 signatures, just a whole bunch of scrappy papers. There's part of that Daphne du Maurier, what do you call it, book cover, dust cover. So this still needs a cover decoration, but we're not going to take any more time doing that because, oh my goodness, 45 minutes already. Okay, so let me show you the other 2. This one I did first. So this is the last piece of that burlap braid type thing. 1 signature. Let me just find the middle here. So you can see that I used about 3 different colors of ink: Rusty Hinge, Wild Honey, and a couple of the browns with this Punchinella, which I love. So I did that across the cover, and then after I glued this stuff down, I went in and did some more, because otherwise it would have seemed as though that had just been plunked on top of it, which in fact it was. You've seen these women like her. You've seen women like her before. These were those war bride things that I had shown you before. So I picked one that I thought, kind of was good. Some brown paper. This glittery bit here was a damaged Egyptian type thing on this. I don't know what this stuff is. It's like wood, it's like paper, it's wonderful stuff. So these are all the plain pieces that I salvaged. Now they're pretty, as you can hear, pretty brittle, pretty crunchy. And then I have a number of these types of things that I cut and salvaged. I deliberately threw away Annie faces, but I kept, parts of the garment, I kept some of these other little motifs. Again, I don't want this to be an Egyptian thing, but I did love the metallic bits of it. So with something like this, I've got that tiny bit showing there that I happen to be able to emphasize with this yellow, stone kind of thing. So I was happy about that. And these other pieces, they will probably, the bigger coppery pieces will probably end up in my copper journal or whatever. There's an arm right there. There's a hand. There's some legs, but you'll never know. Okay, so, and then, and there's a piece of scrapbook paper. Then there seemed to, and I had also used these 2 pieces that are lighter in color were some of those stickers that I had just smeared my, like an ink pad across. And so they looked sufficiently grungy to include here. And then it felt like something was needed here. And of course, if I would have been thinking about my tie sooner, I would have probably put that gal a little, even half an inch higher would have been better placement. But, it is what it is. And then at the back, I just used, here's again, something out of the Walter Foster book. This was a digital of somebody's with, I don't know if that's William Morris or an Art Deco pattern of some sort. And just more stamp-off paper. There's part of that embroidery or that iron-on transfer paper. And that's what we have here so far. So that's that one. Then on the next one, and this one is not finished. but it's close. So I have this beautiful tree pattern or branches pattern. So that's what I used for the stamping on this particular. Oh, you know what? I also have, and see, this might have, and this might be the answer for this little guy. I did those grungy, what do we call these? Clusters. Hey, that could almost work there. These are all too big, though, probably. But, oh, that's a fabric flip. Anyway, you can see how even something as simple as this could be could be part of a journal cover or topper. This might not be that big a stretch. You know what? Like, there is a pink in that washi, and I should show you that washi. It's nice and wide. That's probably 4 inches. Yeah, 4 inches. It's got roses and butterflies and the postal stamp there. I could probably alter this in some way to make the colors work a little better. But again, that's not going to happen in this video. You'll see it in a follow-up Friday video. Anyway, back to what I was doing here. So let's again find the center. So look at how beautiful. Oh, we have some bagging going on here. Look at how beautiful that stamping is. So I used 2 different browns. This would be espresso, and the other one is probably gathered twigs. And I just did that sort of around the perimeter. This was a piece of a paper, well, this is, you know, like a lunch bag. Now, unfortunately, is that going to always be, I must not have put enough glue there. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, let me try to get some glue under there. Now, I would have just used a glue stick, I guess. You can't expect me to remember everything. I mean, I just did it like, you know, maybe an hour ago. Okay, I'm not going to sweat that because Grungy is our middle name here today. And if it really continues to annoy me. Now, when it's closed, it's fine. So most people don't open their books up like this to look at them. Oh, I can put glue up here too. Anyway, boy, I really need some glue here. Anyway, yeah, if that continues to be an irritant, I will, you know, I could put some lace or something there, or some grungy fabric. Anyway, so all I did was, well, I distressed, just with my brushes, added distress ink in a variety of colors to the paper bag, because otherwise it was just a flat brown color. And so you can see there's some nightshade there, and plum, and wild honey, and browns. And now the most beautiful part, which was under here, because I had done all these little ruffly bits, or not ruffly, but scrunched up parts, was covered by the washi tape. You know, so sad, but that's how it goes sometimes. Now, I did add glue. I could rip this to expose some of that. Yeah, what the heck, let's expose some of it. Because I hit the high points there with some nightshade, which is one of my favorite colors. So then there were, of course, it wasn't coming off the roll that well, so I had some additional pieces, and I thought, let's spread some of the decoration to the back part of the cover as well. And you know, that's how it ended up there. Again, I had run it over a glue stick, but you know, when you've got these little itty bitty bits, sometimes it's hard to get every single speck of it. And then ran a piece there as well. So, as I said, I don't consider this done. However, if I can make this work, that would please me. Maybe the color is, okay, these are obviously too small. That's introducing a totally new color. So is that. This is too small to carry the day, as are these guys. So yes, this is kind of our best hope here. Now, it wouldn't take a great deal, you know, just a little bit of some inking, probably, to knock back the colors a bit. Or, you know, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. The other thing would be to introduce some of these lighter colors, and then that makes, this makes more sense. Now, if I would have thought that this is how this could go, then I probably wouldn't have put that biggest piece there. Would anyone be able to tell that that's a happy birthday? So again, I won't take any more of your time right now to figure this out, but I will ponder. And if I needed more of, see what I mean? If I would have needed more, if I wanted more of this, I'm sure I have it someplace. Because goodness knows that was like a piece of art that somebody must have brought back from somewhere in their travels. See, and really all I need to do, see, I said I wouldn't do it, but I'm doing it. Wild honey. It's one of these. Rusty Hinge Wild Honey. I wish I wouldn't have gotten so much right there. That little bit has already made a bit of a difference there. Let's see what gathered twigs will do. Again, we need a light touch here. I don't know why I'm telling you that when I'm the one wielding the brush. A light touch, a very light touch. Or maybe start off on the side instead of right in the middle of light, 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 light. Maybe not quite that light, it's invisible. Maybe we don't want to go right over the flower, but we could certainly go adjacent to it. Oh, today is the Oscars. Don't think well, I know very well I haven't seen any of those movies, so. Am I tuning in just for the shallowness of the fashion? Perhaps. Okay. And again, you know, these journals, who knows, they will perhaps never, perhaps never even see the light of day outside of my space, outside of my studio. So all I have to do is what I want to do. Now, we don't have a similar one to use at the back, but hey, that's not so, that's not too bad. Because this is a pretty wide, how wide is this? 6, this is 7 inches wide. That's pretty wide to not put something on the back cover as well. Here's a bit of a repetition of those colors. But maybe that seems a little too matchy-matchy. Anyway, I think this may end up being what I use on this one. So again, I would just ask that you tune in on a follow-up. Oh, and I can also add a bit of this to the top here somewhere as another attempt to tie it in. I also have other grungy-ish washi tape, but it seems like a strip of this would be the best bet. Anyway, guys, I'm going to stop there. Again, I hope that you tune in to the Masterboard Madness. It's running all of March. There are 29 creators. And, oh, right here. And, of course, if you watch all the videos, if you subscribe to all the people, if you comment, if you like, you can win a prize. I still don't know what the prize is, but hey, trust me, it'll be a good one. Okay, thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.